One project I had during the winter was to get a float set done on my E-Flite RV-7. And just I had to make a lot of adjustments just to make this one fly good with the floats. Because I mean, have these front landing gears, so if you angle them to the rear, you have one kind of issues, and if you have them to the front, there's another kind of issues. But in the end, I just settled on to having these front landing gears then angled forward, and I just had to shorten the rear braces then to have a good angle, so this one just takes off really easy. But once I did it, I discovered that this is a great flying RC airplane then, even with floats, and I'm enjoying this one very much. I mean, on wheels it's one of my favorite RC airplanes because it's so versatile and so, I mean, easy and gentle. And with floats it does become a little bit more heavy, so that's a minor con. But regardless, I think, I mean, it's just super fun to fly this RC airplane. And one interesting fact then about many float sets, because you might think that all the screws and parts of it will be like stainless and never rust. And even if you just fly off of fresh water then, I mean, these screws that holds the pins then on the float set, they do rust. So it's kind of odd really that they hadn't picked a greater set of screws and parts. But that's just a little bit of nitpicking, because I think it's just a super fun thing just to have floats on the RC airplane, and I'm glad that this one does so well. So let's go to the lake then and get this one flying once more. A little bit of wind today. Let's start pushing this one and get it up in the air. Usually no problems, just when I have the right angle then on the floats compared to the wing. This is a fun, sporty, easy flying RC airplane. I fly this on a 4S 2200 milliamp battery, and it's all balanced without any special thing going on. And sometimes I just got questions about, I mean, which RC airplane is the best RC airplane. And I have to say that this RV-7 is, I mean, it's up there like the top 3 planes for sure. Just because it is in my opinion, a really beautiful RC airplane. It flies really well. It's a nice size, great features with flaps, LED lights, and with this float mount that I've made. I mean, more or less it's just on top of the list. Now it's very difficult just to pick one plane, or maybe 2 planes even, because it just depends on how you fly them. So for instance, when I have floats on this plane, and even when I just fly it on wheels, I just like to push this one, do a kind of sporty flight. Then on some other planes I might just want to fly them more scale, or I want to fly them even more aggressive, like my Night Timber X. So it just depends on what kind of mood you're in. That's why it's so difficult just to pinpoint one plane that you can do it all, and that it's just one solution to everything. And then I also think that depending on what kind of pilot you are, what you appreciate to do and think is fun, I think that just is a huge influence what kind of plane you like. But I'm really glad I did this float modification on this RV-7, because I think it's a great looking plane. As you can see, I mean, you can just go around, do whatever you like, more or less. I mean, it doesn't have a good roll rate, very easy just to loop and maneuver. I could also compare this one to my Hobby King TL2000, which is I think it's a long time ago, just discontinued plane, but it is honestly just a fantastic float plane. It's the same wingspan as this one, but it's also much lighter than this RV-7. It doesn't feature flaps, although I've made some adjustments just to do flap-arounds on the TL2000. So I have to say that in a sense, I do enjoy the TL2000 more to fly with floats than. I mean, in certain aspects, it's just a really poor plane in the build. but then when you fly it, it's just a really enjoyable one. On the other hand, this RV-7 is small all round. I think it's better to fly with wheels. I think it's a more beautiful plane. I think it's also more featured, of course, with the things that you get with this one. And this is still available, so that's a huge difference. In general, I would like to see more low-wing general aviation planes, and especially then with the options to do floats. And in this size, I mean, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, that's just a perfect size to do almost anything. So the wind then today, it's a little bit unpredictable in shifting, so you can see just where I'm standing. It appears to be really calm, and then if you just go like 20 meters offshore, it is like wind in one direction, and then I have a line of trees in my back, so it's a lot of turbulence. So sometimes just difficult to judge which direction to land because the wind is shifting. So, I mean, in this direction, it seems to be not really the best direction now. So let's just do one more try. See if I get a nice slope. It appears to be the right direction, and so it's going to go around and do it from the other way then. Usually I just try to land and to where I'm standing, but today I think it's going to face the wind then. Get this one down. It's a little bit of back pressure power. Yeah, I'm way down. So I mean, sometimes it's difficult to judge which wind direction you have when it's like turbulence. In my experience then, we have like trees near the shore. I mean, just great sort of turbulence, so it's difficult. But this is a truly fantastic looking plane and really fun if you want to have a sporty flying RC airplane. And I think this E-Flite RV-7 ticks all the boxes. It's a really beautiful RC airplane in my opinion also.